I cannot handle and be around you when you're just a bitch. Your words have...
Do you want to know what my surprise was?
What?
We got engaged.
Look at Mom got a ring.
Is that upsetting?
Hey, why are you sad, baby?
You and Kourtney are like at each other's throats these days.
I think that she's going through a phase in her life where she has some anger inside that I don't quite understand.
Everyone thought this was the ultimate fairy tale, the kind of love story that seemed untouchable, a whirlwind proposal on the beach, 3 weddings, and even a baby that brought fans to tears of joy. Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian looked like they had it all, but what the cameras didn't show was the storm quietly building behind the scenes. A storm made of broken trust, buried scandals, and family secrets so deep they could tear anyone apart. And when it finally hit, it didn't just shake their marriage. It shook the entire Kardashian empire. So, what really pushed Travis Barker to file for divorce? Was it simply the end of a honeymoon phase? Or something far more shocking? At first, their relationship looked like the dream fans had been waiting for. After years of will they, won't they, Travis and Kourtney finally made it official. And everything about their romance felt larger than life. Less than a year after they started dating, Travis proposed on a beach in Montecito, California, surrounded by roses, candles, and the crashing waves. It was the kind of Hollywood moment people screenshot, repost, and call relationship goals. The celebrations didn't stop there. They went on to have not 1, not 2, but 3 wedding ceremonies, including a headline-grabbing event in Italy that turned into one of the most photographed celebrity weddings of the decade. The Kardashian family was all in. The kids seemed to blend into one big unit, and the world couldn't get enough of this rock star meets reality queen love story. And then came the pregnancy announcement. Kourtney's reveal that she was expecting another child with Travis was celebrated as a new beginning for the couple. And when their son Rocky was born in November 2023, it felt like the perfect final piece to their fairy tale. On the outside, everything seemed flawless. The smiles, the matching outfits, the red carpet moments. Fans even commented that Kourtney looked happier, healthier, and more confident than ever before. But that was only half the story. Behind the Instagram posts and picture-perfect interviews, cracks had already started to form. Whispers of past scandals, old insecurities, and deep-rooted family tensions were slowly creeping back into their lives. And those whispers would soon grow into full-blown chaos. For all the fairy tale moments, there was one thing Kourtney could never fully escape: Travis's past. And it wasn't just any past. It was one filled with headlines, confessions, and mistakes that had already destroyed more than one marriage. Travis himself had admitted, publicly and without hesitation, that he had struggled with staying faithful. During his first marriage to Melissa Kennedy, rumors of infidelity swirled. And when he later married Shanna Moakler, the whispers grew louder. Shanna didn't just accuse him of cheating, she claimed he was unfaithful with not 1, not 2, but multiple women at once. In fact, Travis once shockingly confessed to being with more than a dozen women while still married. It wasn't just a scandal, it was a pattern. Even after his marriages collapsed, Travis openly spoke about valuing his independence, hinting that true monogamy wasn't something he was built for. To some fans, these were just the words of a rock star living the lifestyle he'd always known. But to Kourtney, who had always been cautious about commitment, those words planted seeds of doubt that would never fully go away. At first, it seemed like Kourtney believed she could be the exception, the one to finally change him. Their chemistry was undeniable. Their bond looked solid, and she threw herself into the relationship with hope. But the past has a way of haunting the present, and soon old wounds would be ripped open in the most painful way imaginable. Because as difficult as it was to process Travis's history with infidelity, nothing could prepare Kourtney for the scandal that involved her very own sister. If there was one rumor Kourtney never wanted to believe, it was the one that tied Travis to her own sister. Long before their wedding vows, whispers spread that Travis had been obsessed with Kim Kardashian. It started innocently. Stories about him having a crush, mentions of her in his memoir, little details that fans brushed off. But then Shanna Moakler, his ex-wife, dropped a bombshell. She claimed her marriage ended because she caught Travis and Kim together. At the time, the Kardashian camp denied it. Kim dismissed the claims, saying she never crossed that line. But the damage was done. Shanna went public, calling it every mother's worst nightmare, and insisting that her family was broken because of the Kardashians. For Kourtney, those words cut deep. How could she trust a man whose ex-wife accused him of betraying her with her own sister? Years later, the whispers turned into a shocking confession. During a heated argument, Kim finally admitted that something had happened between her and Travis. She claimed it was a one-time mistake. Nothing serious, not even romantic. But the details she gave, lying in bed, watching a movie, and then crossing a line, were enough to send Kourtney into a rage. According to insiders, she even tried to physically attack Kim, with Khloe forced to step in. The revelation was devastating. This wasn't just about infidelity. It was about betrayal from inside her own family. Kourtney had always struggled to feel fully respected by her sisters, but this scandal took it to another level. And though Kim downplayed it, saying she only admitted the story to provoke Kourtney, the damage was permanent. For Travis, it was another ghost from his past that wouldn't stay buried. For Kourtney, it was a nightmare she could never escape. And for the Kardashian family, it opened old wounds that turned into an all-out war. But what made it worse was that the betrayal didn't stop there, because behind the scenes, another family member had been hiding something even more shocking. As if the scandal with Kim wasn't enough, Kourtney soon learned that the betrayal reached even deeper, into her own mother's hands. For years, Kris Jenner had been the gatekeeper of the Kardashian empire, pulling strings and managing scandals before they ever hit the headlines. But this time, her silence cut sharper than any tabloid rumor. Insiders revealed that Kris allegedly knew about Kim and Travis's fling long before Kourtney found out. Instead of stepping in, she chose to stay quiet, claiming she didn't want to hurt her daughter. But for Kourtney, that excuse only made things worse. The woman who was supposed to protect her had, in her eyes, chosen to protect Kim instead. It wasn't the first time Kourtney felt sidelined. For years, fans noticed how Kris favored Kim, giving her the biggest opportunities, standing by her during controversies and often dismissing Kourtney as difficult or too independent. Now, with the affair exposed, those suspicions felt confirmed. "I don't trust my own family, my own blood, one bit," Kourtney admitted in a moment of raw honesty. And the favoritism didn't just divide the sisters. It left Kourtney feeling isolated, as if she was fighting against both her husband's past and her mother's empire at the same time. Every family dinner, every reunion, every moment where Kim and Travis were in the same room became another test of her patience, and another reminder of just how fragile her marriage really was. By this point, the foundation of their relationship was cracked beyond repair. But instead of slowing down, the chaos only intensified. Because once trust is broken, every distance, every silence, and every missed call starts to feel like another betrayal waiting to happen. And for Kourtney, the worst was still ahead, as Travis's constant absences and cold withdrawal made her wonder if she had ever truly known the man she married. Even after the scandal with Kim, Kourtney tried to hold on. She wanted to believe their love could survive, that the past didn't have to dictate the future. She forgave, she compromised, and she gave Travis chance after chance. But the more she reached out, the further away he seemed to drift. Travis's career only made things worse. Constant tours, late-night rehearsals, and endless hours on the road left Kourtney at home, raising their newborn while juggling the spotlight of reality TV. She often admitted she didn't even know where he was half the time, and shockingly, his own bandmates said the same thing. That kind of disappearance might sound like normal rock star behavior, but for a new mother desperate for stability, it felt like abandonment. Kourtney didn't just sit back, though. She planned romantic getaways, organized family bonding moments, and tried to reignite the spark that had once felt unstoppable. For a while, it even seemed to work. Their conversations grew deeper. Their public appearances showed more affection, and fans thought they were rebuilding. But behind closed doors, Travis was pulling further away. The silence became louder than the music. Nights went by without calls. Trips ended in arguments. Every time Kourtney thought they were moving forward, Travis slammed the brakes. And slowly, she began to realize that love wasn't the only thing missing. So was his commitment. She could forgive his past. She could forgive his mistakes. But what she couldn't ignore was the growing feeling that he simply didn't want to be there anymore. And then came the moment that shattered her last thread of trust, one discovery that proved her worst fears were true. The turning point came one night when Kourtney's instincts told her something was off. Travis had been colder than usual, brushing off her attempts at conversation, glued to his phone, and shutting her out with quick excuses. For most people, that might be easy to ignore. But for someone already burned by betrayal, every red flag felt impossible to miss. While Travis was in the shower, Kourtney gave in to her suspicion. She reached for his phone, and what she found left her shaking. Hidden between casual conversations and work updates were messages from a woman she didn't recognize. They weren't just professional notes or friendly chatter. They carried a tone, a warmth that no wife wants to see coming from another woman. When she confronted Travis, he snapped. He brushed it off as work-related, claiming she was overreacting, paranoid, too sensitive. But Kourtney's gut told her otherwise. Refusing to let it go, she did her own digging. And when she finally reached out to the woman directly, the truth came out. The messages had nothing to do with business. Insiders say that was the moment Kourtney broke. It wasn't just the betrayal itself. It was the realization that the pattern never stopped, despite all the promises, despite the vows, despite the family they built together. Travis was slipping back into the same behaviors that had haunted every relationship before her. The confrontation that followed was brutal. Voices were raised, accusations flew, and the little trust they had left crumbled in a single night. And in the middle of that chaos, Travis hurled the words Kourtney feared most, that he wanted a divorce. But it wasn't just an empty threat, because within days, those words would turn into something very real. When Travis shouted that he wanted a divorce, Kourtney didn't believe him at first. She thought it was heat of the moment anger, words thrown like daggers in the middle of a fight. But this time it was different. Instead of apologizing or softening after the argument, Travis walked out. He left for his tour, cutting off contact entirely. 3 days went by with silence. No calls, no texts, no explanations. For Kourtney, those days felt like years. A blur of panic, heartbreak, and sleepless nights. Friends say she was nearly driven mad by the silence, pacing around her home and debating whether to reach out first. But her pride held her back. She didn't want to be the one begging for attention again. On the 4th day, Travis finally called. The conversation stretched for hours, but instead of resolution, it spiraled into finger-pointing. Kourtney demanded answers. Travis deflected with frustration, and every attempt to heal turned into another argument. By the end of the call, nothing had been solved. Only more wounds had been opened. Then the real shock hit. Just when the world thought it was another celebrity couple spat, it was revealed that Travis had filed official divorce papers. No more speculation. No more he said, she said. The filing made it real. Their marriage wasn't just cracking, it was collapsing. But the question everyone is asking now isn't just why he filed. It's whether Travis truly wants to end the marriage, or whether this divorce is nothing more than a weapon, a way to pressure Kourtney into changing. And that's the part that makes this story even darker. Because with the Kardashians, nothing is ever simple and nothing is ever just private. So now, the fairy tale is over. Or at least, that's what the paperwork says. Travis Barker, once head over heels for Kourtney Kardashian, has taken the step that no one thought he'd actually make, filing for divorce. But the truth is, this story doesn't end with a signature on a document. If anything, it's only the beginning of another chapter filled with uncertainty, speculation, and the kind of drama only this family can create. Was this filing a genuine attempt to walk away from a broken marriage? Or was it a power move, a way to scare Kourtney into chasing after him, begging for his commitment one last time? Some insiders believe Travis is done for good, tired of the constant tension with Kourtney and her family. Others insist this is his ultimate card to play, a way of controlling a situation that has been spiraling for months. And then there's the bigger question. What happens when the cameras roll again? The Kardashians have built an empire on turning their deepest wounds into must-watch television, which means this divorce, if it goes through, won't just be a private heartbreak. It will be dissected, debated, and monetized for the world to see. For Kourtney, the fight isn't just about saving her marriage. It's about protecting her peace, her family, and her dignity in a world that constantly puts her on trial. And for Travis, it's about deciding whether to walk away from the woman who changed his life, or double down on the same destructive patterns that haunted his past. Either way, one thing is clear. This story is far from over, and the next chapter could expose more secrets than anyone is ready for. What do you think? Is this the true end of Kourtney and Travis, or just another twist in a never-ending saga? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking update.